Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add some dimensions to the part, kind of like they're shown here. I'll show you a variety of the different dimensions. But two things I'm going to do. I'm going to move this part over there. So once again, if I type MO, let me get in here. Sorry, type MO, and it's going to be moved right there. So I did type MOVE. It wants my objects. I'm going to go ahead and select all these objects. I'm done selecting, so I'll hit Enter. And I like to kind of want the base point kind of in the middle of the part so I can see kind of where I'm dragging it over. We'll put it maybe right there. And then that way I can kind of zoom in on this a little bit and maybe get my workspace a little better. Okay, so we're going to add dimensions. And what I'm going to do is when I do this, I'm going to switch layers. So we were drawing in that 0 layer that was black. I'm going to go into the dimension layer. And it looks like that dimension layer is going to be orange. Okay, so when I add those dimensions, they'll come in orange. And then, so what I can do is I can come up here onto dimension right there. Here's my different dimensions. For example, here's leader. If I click leader, looks like they got a leader going to these holes here. I could probably put it right on it here somewhere. So it looks like maybe I'll click there. And then if I click here, it wants text, and it would be like 3/4 drill 4 holes. How's that? Okay. And then enter, backspace, and then that's where I'm at on that, okay? Yes. So I hit escape, that's why it asked that. So if I wanted to put in some of these other dimensions, let's say I want to put this diameter in there, I can either click dimension here, at which point it's going to be pretty smart. So you'll see that if now let's click this thing right here. And then notice it's trying to do the radius, but that one's showing diameter. So if I hit D, enter, it's going to go and it's going to try and put in the diameter. So that looks pretty good there. Now I'm still in the dimensioning mode because I haven't hit escape, so it'll keep taking dimensions. So let's look, this is 1 inch radius here. So let's, all these corners are 1 inch. Let's just pick that. Oh, it's trying to put it in as a diameter because that's what we had said before. So if I hit R, enter, now it's going to put it in as a radius. So I've added my radius there. The linears are real basic. It's 2.5 here. So if I kind of get the center of the circle there with the green and the center of the circle here, notice that it throws that in. Okay, same if I did on the bottom horizontal one, 5. If I got that circle here and I got that circle there, then I could put it down there. Now I don't have any aligned dimensions, but let's say you were dimensioning something kind of at an angle. I don't know what you would be, but if you want a dimension from this point to this point, notice that it does, throw in a dimension like that unaligned. So, but I'm going to hit escape. We didn't do that. So that's kind of the way that you put those dimensions on there. And so now what you have up here in your dimension layer, when you go here, you can see that it's got, it'll pull up your dimensions here, and you can turn that off. So I can turn the layer off by clicking that light bulb, and notice the dimensions went away so I can look at my drawing. I didn't erase the dimensions, I just kind of turned them off for a minute. So if I come back up here and I click that light bulb again, I can turn that back on. So that's the purpose of the layers. Same as before when you put those center lines on here using the center layer. If we had center lines on there, we could turn them off and on if they were in the way or if we didn't want to see them for that particular print. So that's kind of the way the basic dimensioning and the layer control of it works.